I've been a transformational coach and facilitator for the last 6 years. 8 years ago, I was homeless, living out of my car, with an overdrawn bank account almost every day for about a year and a half period. And I was in a place where I knew I couldn't go back to the career that I knew, the 9 to 5, the life where I wasn't designing it, where I wasn't working for myself, where I wasn't creating my own rules. And to leave that reality and then jump into the other one so fast without a backup plan, without a structure, let's say, was very intense. But that was the way that I needed to do it. And through that process, through the fire of that, led me to creating a business where I got to help people at a soul level, connect back to their heart, connect back to the truth of who they are, as they go through the exact process that we all go through at different degrees and different levels, which is, as I've said before, your soul is coming in, your small self frame, the ego identity, is starting to dissolve. It's starting to lessen its grip of control so that you can know all of who you are. This is the process that all of humanity is going through. There's nothing woo about it. It's not esoteric. It's just evolution. It's like we've all been a bunch of caterpillars refusing to become butterflies, right? Can you imagine a caterpillar that's like, no, that's woo woo. Like, I don't believe in the butterfly stuff. That's not a thing. And that's what we're doing on some level. We're denying this transformational process that takes us to this higher octave of experience, where we get to, after thousands and thousands of years of evolution and having to be in survival mode and be externally focused and have that heightened sense of awareness for danger and threats in our outer environment, we finally have the space in the modern age to now bring it internally, which has always been where the divine resides within us. So we finally got space for that. But yet we're still holding on to and conditioned to stay in the place that, in that same story that we've had for humanity for a very long time. So we're coming out of that. And for the last 6 years, I've been helping people through that process. And I can tell you right now that more people are coming into that place than ever before. We're at the stage now where we've reached a critical mass. And you can no longer stay in the in-between place. A choice has to be made. You either go back to sleep or you walk the road that is your path, that is your soul and heart's calling. So I've been doing this for 6 years. I had to figure out a way. If you can imagine this, I'm waking up in my car in random neighborhoods every morning. I have no money. I'm doing Uber with all of my stuff in the trunk of my car, all of the possessions that I own. I'm getting about 4 hours of sleep because I'm literally just lowering my seat back. It wasn't like a comfortable car where I was like doing this cool, trunk camping. So my nervous system's all messed up. I have so much shame. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. And I'm just surviving day after day. I went so deep into survival that it was almost getting to a place where I needed to get like medical attention. But I realized at a deeper level what was happening was my soul was helping me to understand this survivalism from a very deep level, to experience it at the deepest level that I could, so that I could create my way out of it, so that I could get to a level of pain where I understood, like, this is done. This is not it. This is not my life. This is not who I am. This is over with. I'm creating something new now. Powerful choice. Next thing I knew, I was in San Diego in a house. And then things went from there. And I was never homeless again. And that's where my business started. And that's where all of the divine ideas started pouring in. And I was, boom, on my path. Okay? So the point of this video, why I'm making this today, is I want to share with you, because there's so much fluff, right? There's so much information out there that it can get confusing, it can get overwhelming, And I want to just ground you into what I feel is going to land in the deepest place if you actually listen. I want to cut through the fluff. I want this to be a place, my intention is for this channel to be a place where you're going to come and not get any fluff. You might get some fun, charisma, and entertainment, and that's great. But we're going to get to the heart of the matter because this is the wild heart way. The heart being uncaged. Your inner child being uncaged. And you're to come back into that place where you can start to enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, and have that sense of you're the one creating it. It's all you, baby. And it takes, that's a process to get to that level of consciousness. It's earned, right? But the good news is you can start right now, and to the degree that you dedicate yourself, not in this forceful, way that we're used to doing things. Like, my goodness, school and the conditioning with how to learn and how to do things, it has backtracked us so much. So we have to unravel all that, all right? Let's get into it. Let's cut through the fluff. I'm going to tell you how, after 6 years of guiding hundreds of clients, taking people on retreats all over the country and in different parts of the world that were all geared towards transformation, that were all geared towards soul evolution, what I found was the biggest factors in helping people to go through this process of caterpillar to butterfly, of ego to soul, okay? So, first and foremost, you can't skip it. This is where we got to start. Nervous system regulation. You've got to feel safe within your body. Safe to be who you are, safe to share your truth, safe to receive from life, receive abundance, receive goodness, what you're worthy of, right? Because you get what you are. The universe, source, doesn't care what you want. And when you have the lens of God, of source, being like a parent figure, that hurts to hear that. Oh, it doesn't care about what I want, but what I want, doesn't it matter? No, because that's not how the divine law, the hermetic principles work. It's your frequency. It's what you are broadcasting through your electromagnetic signature, okay? So what that means is if you want something, first of all, you're saying it's not already here, which is an illusion, because it is. It's all existing in possibilities right now, which is really cool to gift yourself the knowingness of that. But if your nervous system is all over the place and you're in constant fight or flight and you're not feeling safe, then you've built a prison around that. Your nervous system can't hold something better. It's gotten used to the survival and the struggle, right? So first and foremost, you've got to start creating that safety, taking responsibility for that safety. You're not waiting for the world to give it to you. I can't tell you, when I was homeless in my car, I wanted to be rescued so badly. I wanted God to just come down and take me out of that and put me in this cushy little wonderful scenario, because that's where my mind was at, right? I was deep in victim mode, and I had a nervous system that reflected that. So how you start to shift out of that and realize that it's all you're the creator, you have to give yourself that inner security, is full ownership, right? You start to come into that responsibility and that truth of nobody's coming to save me. I'm learning to save myself. And what really helps with this process, and this is why I talk about it a lot on this channel, inside of you is a very wounded inner child, a very pissed off and wounded adolescent, and different degrees and shades of that in between, existing in you right now in your nervous system. That is where the beliefs got in. That's where the attitude towards life got in. That's where you learned how to protect yourself, all the different stuff. And you are the loving consciousness, the awareness right now, right here, right? The adult you got to be the parent for yourself that you never had. You got to love yourself in a way that you never had and that you were always looking for outside of you. No. You're bringing it all in. It's you now. It's you with you. And then this will reflect that back. But the way that you start to calm your nervous system, first of all, you create space. And this is just like very surface level, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of an idea of this because this takes a lot more time. This is why I do my coaching stuff with people, because we have to dive into this. But I'll give it to you on a level where you can start practicing it now. You're the loving awareness. So when the trigger, the emotional pull is in your nervous system, and then the idea, the belief that comes with that, because they go together, you have to begin to notice that belief was from that child, from the teenager, right? And you're just the one that's noticing it. And so while you're noticing it, you're not getting pulled down into it. You're not getting ruled by it. You're noticing it. And I want you to imagine yourself as a teenager, yourself as a little kid, and how intense and brutal that was to have that there. And there was nobody to help you with it. You couldn't articulate it. Your parents didn't help. There was no adults around you to help. So you just, little you just in there like, oh, how do I, like a lot of compassion, because that was a very difficult thing for us when we were young, for sure. So you've got to be able to start making the distinction between who you are actually and what that feeling is inside of your nervous system and what those thoughts are that go with it. It's younger you, right? So the reparenting process, absolute necessity, cannot skip it. You got to create safety with that. You got to start meditating, because meditation is the practice. It's the tool that creates the space where you have more awareness of this kind of a thing, right? And meditation, let's not dramatize it and make it more difficult than it needs to be. Sit in a chair in the morning for 15 minutes and just observe. Breathe and just observe and just realize that you're not the body. You're not the identity of the old you, of the ego. You're just loving awareness. And anything that arises, you just notice it. And you go, oh, cool. Unattached observation. That voice that's like, well, we got to go do this chore. And like, hey, let's not forget about this thing. And you just look at it and you let it say all of its craziness, right? And you realize that those are just cycled thoughts that were never seen like that before. Meditation is a necessity, especially right now with how much overwhelm we have in our minds, okay? Oh, there's so much I can say on that, but that's number one, create safety within yourself, okay? Think about this. This is the other thing. What is your relationship with truth? Because if we're being honest, most of us have a really poor relationship with truth, and we form all of these protective behaviors and coping mechanisms to avoid inconvenient truths. That's really what it comes down to. Like when you start having to admit to yourself all the ways that you've been coping and avoiding that truth, that's when shit starts to happen. That's when real movement starts to come in, okay? Think about this. The man or woman that you desire to be, how's their relationship with truth? Are they afraid to admit to themselves things that they're doing that are avoiding what they actually say that they want to be doing or who they want to be? That version of you will admit to themselves when relationships, jobs, whatever outer circumstances are going on are not in alignment. They're not afraid to do that, right? So you say you want to be this higher level version of you, but you're not willing to admit these things. But that version of you that you want to become, that's how they are. They dance with truth. That's part of their experience. There's no shying away from it, right? And they don't allow those things that are not alignment to be there anymore. So you can't say you want to be that being and then still be doing this stuff where you dance around truth and you pretend like things are okay. Okay? So we're going to keep going here. These are the pillars for true transformation that I'm giving to you after 6+ years of being in the field of being a transformational coach and guide. And I've facilitated over 100 ceremonies and retreats all around this kind of a thing. And this is what I've learned. And for myself, of course. All right, so here we go. The man or woman that you desire to become does not get paralyzed and stuck in the how do I. They don't say things like, what do I do? That's the conditioned brain that's trying to solve a problem. It's labeling something a problem and it's trying to fix it, and we're evolving out of that because that's the old way. And you'll just get more looping if you stay there. You've got to realize the version that you want to become does not do that. They do not ask that question, how do I? Well, Sean, what's the other side of that then? If I don't know how to do it, then, why is that a bad question? Here's why. The energy of that, how do I, it keeps you stuck. You're problem solving. The you that you want to become, that you want to step into, here's what they say. Here's what I would like to create. I would like to create this. Ooh, I choose this now. I shift my attention to this. The evolved you knows and understands that the how has to go, because that's human linear thinking. Of course, we're having a human experience, but the linear conditioned thinking of problem solving is not evolution. And if you keep going that direction, you're gonna keep getting more of the same stuff, right? We're stepping into being creators. What would you like to create? Okay. The confident version of you, how does it deal with intrusive thoughts, feelings of insecurity? It welcomes them. It says, you're allowed to be here, because that evolved version of you understands the reparenting process that I was talking about earlier. You are now greeting those belief systems formed from childhood, which is your inner child. You have to imagine it as if that little you is knocking on your front door. The old way was you would either slam the door shut, pretend like they're not there, or you would go in the back and smoke some weed or start scrolling your phone and ignore the child that's knocking on the door. But now you metaphorically open the door and you say, hey, you're allowed to be here. And you let them be in that, just like a parent would to a child that's having a nightmare, right? It's like you just let them, you make them feel safe and they're okay. And you reassure them it's okay. So those intrusive thoughts, you're not trying to push them away or deny them. You're allowing it because it's a version of you that had opened the door to those things and taken them in for a very long time, right? So the you that you want to become, they don't feed the intrusive thoughts emotional reactions, right? Your life force energy is not pulled by those things anymore. And I'm going to tell you, the identity of who you were that you're desiring to go beyond, right? So you occupy the higher room. That identity is a creation. You've cemented it and crystallized it for many, many years. And you best believe it's going to try to pull at you, because when you're not giving it life force anymore, it wants to survive. It's a creation that's become sentient. It wants to survive. The alarm bells are going to ring in your amygdala. Hey, this is different, right? And you have to be able to maintain who you are above all of that, because you're changing your frequency, right? So you're not letting those thoughts of limitation, lack, fear, whatever it was that used to pull you, that you would get sucked into and identify and agree with, that's over, right? Okay, let's keep going. The man or woman that you desire to become, they don't tolerate settling. They're not okay with just getting by. they know their worth, and they only put their attention on designing a life that they are in love with, that they are in alignment with. And this is where the chaos and the complexity that the brain loves starts to morph into simplicity. Truth is simple. But we've got a world that is an externalized expression of our crazy brains, and we're used to doing things from that place, and that's not how the higher potential you does any of that, right? It's a creator. It's creating. It's choosing where the attention's going. And here's the cool part. The man or woman that you want to be is here with you now. They are in your field with you right now. And actually, they love you very deeply, because this is the you that's down in the weeds, doing the work, going through the discomfort, so that you can be birthed, right? And in the quantum space, everything's happening all at once. It's already done. That version of you has already been created on some timeline, and you're now pulling them into your now space by doing what you're doing and changing things. And you better believe that you, the soul, is deeply in love with you and is so stoked that you're now moving in that direction and you two are getting closer. You better believe that part is very excited about that. Okay? But it's going to cost you. When you move up the floors, it's going to cost you. Just like it would in a high-rise apartment, which I'm doing right after this, actually. I'm recording a masterclass. You guys are going to love this. It's going to be, oh my goodness. It was the thing that I needed that I didn't have. And I'm so stoked to create it for you. Anyways, it's going to cost you, right? To move up, it's going to cost you your old life. All the distractions, the discomfort of creating something new that comes from your heart, it's going to cost you the laziness and the procrastination and the things that protected you from the potential rejection, people seeing you, people judging you, criticizing you. All of that's going to have to be faced to be the one that you want to be, truly, right? Your laziness and your procrastination will be replaced by deep focus and very precise intention. And that's where I struggled for a long time. The deep focus part with, I don't want to say my ADHD brain, but that was a big deal for me. It was very hard for me to do deep focus. But the focus is our entire lives. If we don't have the superpower of our focus, we got nothing, right? So let's keep going. Yeah, so the cost, like I was saying, it's going to cost you to move up, to change frequencies. You're going to have to be very intentional, and you're going to have to pay attention to where your energy is going all throughout your day, where your thoughts are going. You got to be present. You got to prioritize that. You can't just squander it and let it be willy-nilly. You got to really pay attention, right? And there's a cost to that. The man or woman that you desire to be must take full responsibility of their experience. All the good that's come before, all the bad, all the failures, all the things, that version of you accepts all of it and is grateful for all of it because it's led to this version of you. And it couldn't have been any other way, and it knows that. The fractured, wounded, false part of you guilt trips on that and gets stuck there. But the real you understands all of it and is super grateful for what's come before to now reach this place. And here's the thing, folks. Your subconscious mind, you've heard that term before if you're on this channel. It's your Garden of Eden. What you imprint into your subconscious mind, which you could say is the heart, which you could say is your electromagnetic field, the way that you're imprinting that through your emotions and your thoughts every day is what you're going to get. And you either live by that or you don't. You either let yesterday recreate itself, the old limitations pull you emotionally again and again, or you become the creator and you say, okay, I'm taking full responsibility of my garden. Here's the seeds that I'm planting now, and I'm starving the weeds. Because those weeds, which were the lack of self-worth, the lack of confidence, all the things, required your attention and life force energy to stay alive. No wonder you don't got any good shit growing in your garden, because all the water and the sunlight is going to your fucking weeds. It's not... Do you see how it starts getting a little more simple and not complex when we put it like this? Yeah. That version of you knows this. So I'll give you some examples here, because when I was riddled every day with I'm not okay and I need to fix this, I was acting from fear. I was planting seeds of fear in my garden, and I was in a place of what you would call problem consciousness. I wasn't coming from the solution, which was me showing up for myself and rewiring the program to I am okay. There's nothing outside of me anymore that's going to tell me if I'm okay or not. I'm the one deciding that now. And that's the responsibility for your internal landscape. You're creating I'm okay and coming out of I'm not okay. When you label something a problem, you're in resistance. And what you resist persists, baby. We know this. Boom. Here we go. So this is a letting go process. There's no way around it. You got to sacrifice the old ways if you want to be that being that you choose to be, that you see for yourself. That's confident. That's got a swag. That's just in flow with life. That feels good about themselves, is experiencing all these cool synchronicities and miracles. They're not any different than you. Other people that are doing this, that have done this, I'm not any different than you. I'm just someone who was like, okay, I'm done with the bullshit, and I'm not willing to live that way anymore. I'm taking full responsibility. I'm going to purge all victimhood out of my consciousness. And it can't be any other way. So you're going from struggle to inner peace. And your biology and neurology is wired to chaos and entropy. And I went through this for many years, like I said, spinning my tires because I wasn't willing to admit to myself that I was being ineffective. And it hurt to see that. But it was true. Right? I had to look at the core wound of that. I was a scared little boy who was terrified of being rejected and who was afraid of responsibility and being seen for who he is. That I was terrified of that, and I had to come to terms with it, that's what was going on. Because like I said earlier, to be the version I knew I always wanted to be, I knew that I'd have to put myself out there where all the things could happen. People could reject, judge, criticize, abandon me, all of that. So I had to face off with that. So underneath it all, it was just me not showing up for me. And all the parts that had fears. And once those things got cleared out and I started showing up for myself consistently and taking that responsibility, that's when you start to get movement. That's when you start to feel like you're up to something. Your power starts to build. You start to feel useful. You trust yourself. And the soul is now starting to drive the car instead of the traumatized, wounded ego, right? You're prioritizing your peace. You're prioritizing order, ease, enjoyment. You're cutting out the things that were depleting your energy and zapping your life force. And you tweak the perspectives that were draining you. You correct the error that was in the mind that started from childhood. Those limiting beliefs that were like, I can't do this and this isn't possible for me. All that's bullshit. Throw it out the window. Start from the blank slate. You're the creator. Keep the attention there. Right? You have moments where the conditioning of scrolling and distracting are going on, and you stop that and you say, that's not me anymore. I love myself. I know that kind of activity kills my focus, and immediate gratification destroys the progress that I'm making on long-term fulfillment. And I'm valuing my time too much to zone out and do shit like that. I am moving with precision and intention every day, right? There's a withdrawal process when you leave the biology of the old self. Look at drug addicts, right? People that are having the experience of addiction with substances. If they're not willing to go through the withdrawal process because they're afraid of it and it's uncomfortable, then they're going to be in the drug addiction for the rest of their lives. Every person who has ever recovered from that had to face the withdrawal process, the discomfort, the thoughts of I'm going to die. Of course, biologically, that's way more intense when you're doing it with substances like that, alcohol. That's a brutal one. So many beautiful beings caught in that one right now. But my goodness, what's on the other side of that is incredible. So these are what I just spoke to. These are the things that I've seen in my own process and with my clients that are what changes reality. Okay? Let's cut out all the other fluff. This is the realness. This is the sauce that I'm giving you here. All right? Now, you can, of course, this is a process with you. The reason that I even do coaching at all is because when I finally opened up and received that and got that, when I realized that other people's frequency was at a level that I wanted to get to, I partnered with them, invested in myself so I could cut the time down, so I could cut through all the bullshit and stay on track, be held accountable, have a powerful, pure mirror in front of me to help me see the lies that I couldn't see for myself. This is why I do it, and I love it. It's why I'm on the planet, because your healing is my healing, your transformation is my transformation, and we're here to anchor heaven on earth. This is the Wild Heart way. So if you've watched this to the end, well, that part of you that we were talking about earlier, the higher potential you, the full self, is smiling ear to ear, and it's right next to you. And it's like, hey, you're watching this, you're drawn to it because this is happening. We're ready. Let's go. Don't delay it. So I want to leave you guys with that. If you're inspired, if you're feeling the fire, if you're feeling like you're ready to go through this process, I have 2 spots opened on my calendar for 2 clients because I can't do much more than that right now. It's very intimate, it's very potent and powerful, and again, I see myself in you. So the care and the love and the precision that I work with people is the same way that I would work with myself back then. Okay? So that masterclass is going to be coming out. I highly, highly recommend it. And I will be posting it shortly. And that is all about, it's basically taking what I just talked about and then just blasting it open to the next level. Because that was, I gave you my best there, but there's unpacking it all is, it's a whole thing. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, for giving your precious life force and attention to this content. And we're just getting started. Things are getting exciting around here. The power is just building. And I used to just like deplete it once it got to a certain level. And now I'm like, I want to see how far I can take this. I want to see how much power and light I can hold in my vessel. That's where my curiosity is taking me right now. And I hope yours is doing the same. Much love, everybody. Link below if you want to sign up for a discovery call. I'm not working with just anybody. I'm beyond that point now where it's like the energy has to be at a certain place for it to make sense. And it has to make sense for you too, right? So we can do a discovery call, we can figure that out, and we can get you really rocking this thing because it's time. All right, y'all. As always, peace within is peace without.